Hey, what's up? Thanks for coming back. You already know who it is. It's Primitive, and you're watching another boring stream. And I'm your lovely host, Key. We're gonna do like we always do. We're gonna get down to business and get to studying. Um, I only have about an hour and a half to spare tonight, but we're gonna make that worth whatever we can make it. I might not be the most talkative this time. I got some yogurt to focus on. So after I eat that, then I might talk. But, it's called the boarding stream for a reason. So I'm going to be down here in the corner. In fact, I'm going to mute my microphone a little bit so y'all don't have to hear me schmicking and schmacking. And then after that, we could get into business. But I'm going to go ahead and start. I'll let you know what I've been doing when I finish this. I know my plan says to go from 4, 11, 12, and 13, but that's not really a lot. Um, what I'm going to try to do actually is just go ahead and finish. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just finish out 14. And then I'll do the little quiz at the end. So yeah, that's the goal for tonight, is we're going to just finish this chapter Um, and then we only have four left. Okay, not too bad. I'm obviously not following the week, the weeks that I had planned out, but it's fine. I originally had 6 weeks, and I'm just basically at that pace, anyways. I don't know what I was thinking when I originally started this, but anyways, I got one more yogurt to eat, so back on mute. I'm normally bougie with food, um, and when I eat yogurt, I usually get the high protein, expensive yogurt from the co-op. But that's not what this is. This is from a gas station. I needed something. I needed something sweet, but I didn't want to get candy. So how much sugar is in this? Oh gosh, yeah, this is about half of a Coca Cola. Anyways, it's better than a Coca Cola, I guess. How much protein? It's only 5 grams of protein. Dang. Yeah, the one I get from the co-op, I don't even know how much this costs, but the one I get from the co-op is 4 times as much protein as this thing. Oh, this is distributed Minneapolis, Minnesota. Whoop 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 whoop. Okay, cool. That's my city. Represent. Okay. I think that's out of the way. Okay, so phase E is opportunities and solutions. So at some point during the ADM process, you've already architected um, a plan for your business architecture, your information systems architecture, and your technology architecture. And each of those are targets that you're trying to move your baseline to in those three domains. Am I forgetting one? Yeah, those three domains. Information system is actually two domains, but they're together. So you're moving from a target to this new baseline. And what phase E is about is identifying what are the gaps that have been created with your new architecture as you are planning to make this migration. You do a gap analysis, and then you indicate what that effort entails, what it's going to involve, and why you're doing it. Basically, why you need to manage that. And then there are dependencies. Obviously, when you change something in one part of a system, it could have some secondary and tertiary effects as well. Value, effort, risk. Okay. So there's risk analysis and there's risk management. Okay. So you'd be generating architecture, road map. That's going to be a combination of the gap analysis and the candidate architecture components. Where's my whiteout? There it is. From phases B, C, D. And will this use an incremental approach? I think I have too many incense going because I just feel nauseous. You ever do that? I think I'm the only person that does that in the world. Okay, so if there is incremental approach to this, then you'll have to design transitional architecture. Okay. Cool beans. And then we'll want to define solution building blocks. Okay. What is this thing? Did I have some invisible element in there? Must have. Must have accidentally did something. Okay, initial complete version of architecture roadmap. Continuous business value. Continuous business value. Okay, so for phase, let me just go ahead and do phase F. I'm gonna take both of these and put them into Gemini together, anyways. Okay, phase F. My dog is in his crate right now. He's doing such a good job. The crate's not even closed. I just asked him to go sit down in it, and he's actually just chilling out in his crate. I don't mind if he comes in now, but I wanted to set the tone where he wasn't like, all over the place and Also, I'm trying to show him that it's okay to not be around me. You can go off, like, don't even get me started. Up until this point in his life, I've always just had him constantly under me. And, he's 11 months old in 6 days. So he's basically an adult. Well, not a fully grown adult. He's basically a teenager. So I'm trying to give him some more independence. I really don't want to, but also he's very clingy and very annoying. So, anyways, I'm glad that he's chilling out and it's great by himself. Hopefully, hopefully he just kind of learns to just be chill and do his own thing. Okay, so with migration planning, you also need to think about coordinating with enterprises' approach to managing and implementing change. The change portfolio, whatever that means. Sounds like secret business. Okay, so I'm going to take all of this from these two phases and we're just going to scoop it up. Going to scoop it on up. We're going to go to Gemini. I'm going to say, can you please explain this in simple language using the T3 style for maximum understanding? And clarity. Show me the money, show me the money, show me the money. Let's check the stream. See how many people have dropped in. Nobody. Not one single soul. And I'm not mad about it. I'm learning how to be detached from the results of things. It's been one of my meditations lately. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. Okay. Oh, wait, you know what? I just remembered. This cannot do the T3 style because gems do not apparently inherit saved information. Okay, so we'll just do this. Can you please explain the following? Oops. From T3 style. Yeah, it really sucks about the gems not having the saved info. I the reason why I want to use my defined what I call T3 style is because I prefer to listen. I mean, I I can read. I promise you, I can read. But I prefer to engage all my senses when I study, and being able to listen is as important as being able to read myself. So I like to have this in a style that is optimized for text to speech, and also I don't want it to literally regurgitate. I want it to, add something or simplify at least and write it in a different verbiage so that I can get another way to explain something. So let's go ahead and listen to this. I'm going to turn down the music just a little bit.
Certainly, let us explore phases E and F of the Open Group Architecture Framework,
I
commonly
wish I could
known as
change the
TOGAF.
speed of this.
These phases are integral parts of the Architecture Development Method, or ADM, which provides a structured approach for developing an enterprise architecture. We will examine the purpose, essential knowledge, and objectives of each phase in a clear and accessible manner. Phase E is titled Opportunities and Solutions. The fundamental purpose of this phase is to consolidate the findings from previous phases B, C, and D, with
That's a good way to explain that. So phase E consolidates the findings from phases B, C, and D. B, C, D. Okay, cool.
which focus on developing the business, information systems, and technology architectures, respectively, and to outline a practical path forward. Imagine that in the earlier phases, an organization has identified where it currently stands with its architecture and where it wants to be. This difference is often referred to as a gap. Phase E is concerned with figuring out how to bridge this gap. This involves developing a series of work packages, which are essentially manageable chunks of work or projects. For each of these work packages, Phase E aims to clearly indicate the expected benefits or value that completing the work will bring to the organization, as well as the effort or resources required to do it. Furthermore, it is important to understand the dependencies between these work packages, meaning how they might rely on each other to achieve the desired future state, often called the adjusted target. To successfully navigate Phase E, certain essential knowledge must be determined. Firstly, understanding the dependency between the set of changes is crucial. This refers to how different proposed changes, encapsulated in work packages and addressing specific gaps, are interconnected. For instance, one work package might need to be completed before another can begin. Secondly, it is vital to assess the value, effort, and risk associated with each individual change and each work package. This means evaluating what benefits each brings, what it will cost in terms of time, money, and resources, and what potential problems or uncertainties might arise. Thirdly, Phase E seeks to understand how stakeholder priority and preference adjust in response to value, effort, and risk of change. Stakeholders are individuals or groups of
That was
people.
actually a common thing in both of these phases. How would I write that out? So basically, stakeholder priority and preferences adjust in response to value, effort, risk, and risk of change. I mean, that seems like a very obvious statement, but it's nice to, hear it kind of spelled out plainly. Stakeholder priority and preference changes in response to value, effort, and risk. Duh. It's interesting how, like, sometimes you'll be learning some, quote unquote advanced skill or whatnot, and you know, you're like thinking, oh, there's gonna be some big secret or some big like arcane, esoteric knowledge I'm gonna get that's gonna like make what I do like really, really powerful and potent. And yes, you can become more powerful and potent, you know, when you learn stuff, but sometimes it's almost like just reassuring you of the obvious things or reminding you of the obvious things or helping you see the obvious things in a different light with a different, emphasis. It's not always it's something new. It's something that a lot of things you learn are just things that you already know, but they're just explained in a way where you understand the significance in a different way, or you understand why it can be important and for what it can be important.
For groups with an interest in the project. Their initial priorities might shift once they have a clearer picture of the benefits, costs, and risks associated with the proposed solutions. The objectives of Phase E are quite specific. A primary objective is to generate the initial complete version of the architecture roadmap. This roadmap
So that's a primary objective.
is a high-level plan that outlines the various projects or work packages, their timelines, and how they will collectively lead to the target architecture. It is built upon the gap analysis performed earlier and incorporates candidate components identified in phases B, C, and D. Another key objective is to determine whether an incremental approach is required. Sometimes, trying to implement all changes at once is too disruptive or complex. In such cases, an incremental approach, where changes are rolled out in stages, is preferable. If this is the case, Phase E aims to identify transition architectures that will deliver continuous business value. Transition architectures are like intermediate states of the architecture that provide specific benefits along the way to the final target architecture. Finally, Phase E aims to define the overall solution building blocks.
So wait, transitional architecture, intermediate states of architecture that provide specific benefits along the way. Okay, I like that. This pen, by the way, is great with this highlighter. Normally, I have an issue with smudgerations with the pens I use. I know that if I had another, this is a juicier pen. This is the Pilot Precise V5, one of my favorites actually. Um, some of my other pens though, they're also juicy, but they don't dry quickly, and apparently they're not waterproof or whatever. But this combination is working pretty well. And that's one thing that I will like literally start a new page I'll just start over. If it starts smudging too much, I can't look at it. It hurts my soul. But that's not a problem tonight. So
SBBs, to finalize the target architecture based
this
on
is a
the
lot.
architecture building blocks, ABS. Architecture building blocks, ABS, are more conceptual and describe the capabilities needed, while solution building blocks, SBBs, are more concrete and represent the actual products, systems, or components that will be implemented to realize those capabilities. Following Phase E, we move to Phase F, known as migration planning. The core purpose of Phase F
Okay, I already know this. We talked about this a while back.
Phase F is to take the opportunities and solutions identified in Phase E and transform them into a detailed and approved implementation plan.
Okay, so that's a good way to explain that. Take opportunities and solutions identified in Phase E and transform into a detailed and approved implementation plan.
This means defining a clear set of projects that are ready for execution. Each project within this plan will have a stated objective, any necessary constraints, such as budget limits or specific technologies to be used, the resources required, like personnel, funding, and equipment, and defined start and finish dates. Essentially, Phase F is about creating a practical, actionable blueprint for making the desired changes happen. The essential knowledge that needs to be determined in Phase F builds upon the work of Phase E. Firstly, it is critical to understand the resources available to undertake the change. This involves a realistic assessment of what the organization can actually commit to the implementation effort. Secondly, similar to Phase E, Phase F continues to consider how stakeholder priority and preference adjust in response to value, effort, and risk of change. This is an ongoing process, as stakeholder requirements and buy-in are crucial for the success of the migration plan. As more detailed plans emerge, stakeholder perspectives may continue to evolve. The objectives for Phase F are focused on finalizing the planning aspects. A key objective is to finalize the architecture roadmap and the supporting implementation and migration plan. This involves taking the initial roadmap from Phase E and refining it into a comprehensive plan that details how the migration from the current architecture to the target architecture will occur. Another important objective is to ensure that the implementation and migration plan is coordinated with the enterprise's approach to managing and implementing change in the enterprise's overall change portfolio. Most organizations have existing processes and structures for managing projects and changes. The migration plan developed in Phase F must align with these broader organizational practices to ensure smooth execution. Lastly, Phase F aims to ensure that the business value and cost of work packages are clearly understood and agreed upon. This involves confirming that the anticipated benefits of each project justify its costs and that these elements are clearly articulated and accepted by the relevant stakeholders before implementation begins. In summary, Phase E focuses on identifying potential solutions to bridge architectural gaps, evaluating these solutions in terms of value, effort, and risk, and creating an initial roadmap. Phase F then takes these identified solutions and develops a detailed, resourced, and approved migration plan, ensuring it aligns with the organization's overall change management practices and that the business case for the planned work is sound. Together, these phases transition the architectural vision into a concrete plan for implementation.
Okay, so that this sentence right here is really good. Identifying potential solutions to bridge architectural gaps and evaluating those solutions in terms of value, effort, and risk to create an initial roadmap. That's basically what that means. Okay. Do 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 do. Um. Now we're moving on to phase G, which is implementation governance. And phase H, which is architecture change management. Oh, I need another highlighter color. Let's do orange. That looks pink. This is orange, but it looks pink on my paper. That is weird. Can highlighters go bad? Can they spoil? Because this is probably like 5 or 6 years old. That's wild. It's wild to think about. Um, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break-a-roni. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to take a break. Requirements management. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break, and then when I come back, I'm gonna do phases G and H, and also requirements management, and then that'll probably be around the time when I take my last break, and then I would after that when I'll come back and do these two sections. Okay, so we're making our way downtown, walking fast. Pace is fast, and I'm homebound. Um, yeah. Okay, so for my break, I'm gonna do. Let's do 15 minutes. I might do that sooner. I'm gonna set my timer for 10, but I'm gonna say 15 because you know I'm always late. You know I'm always late. So, anyways, don't go too far. But if you go anywhere, make sure you come back to the Wolfpack. I'll be right here where we left off. See you in a bit. Yeah, what's up? I just learned how to transition back and forth. Apparently, there's a like a little studio mode in OBS that lets you plan your transitions, and I had not been using it, so here we are. Wait, let's try this. Okay, we got like a nice little transition thing. I'm gonna start using this. I need to. Um, I need. Oh, oh. Okay. I need to start using this. Okay, yeah, this is gonna have to be something I start doing because I have been ignoring it, and this would make it a little nicer. Okay, so okay, let's get back into this. Um, where were we? Phase G. Phase. Go. Oh, I should do a screenshot too while I'm here. While I'm fresh faced, let's do a screenshot. I try to smile for these. I try to smile. I try to put something nice on the screen because it says, "Hey, I'm working hard and I'm happy." But this will be a screenshot. Wait, I'm not so cheesy doing this, but whatever. I don't want my T-lock all up in the screen, so I'm gonna do a side view. How about this? I always like to do like the pointy one, like something like this, like I'm explaining something. There you go, like that. Okay, got my screenshot. Oh wait, let's do one more little highlight. I'm telling y'all, when I stream, I try to make use of these streams for marketing purposes because it really does help. Self marketing is important. Importante. Let's do one more. There you go. Yeah, I try to do self marketing because I just figure I'm trying to get a job doing this. And part of the reason why I stream, well, there's a couple reasons. I stream for myself, obviously, because it helps me focus. Just being on camera, and even if there's no one watching, I have that feeling of being observed, whether now or in the future. So it keeps me on track because I don't want to look crazy. And the second part is like living in a day and age of AI and computerization and stuff like that, automation, generative stuff. It's becoming really, really increasingly difficult for companies to distinguish who's who and who's real. And this was a problem even before AI. One of the challenges in hiring is like you get an application, and on paper, someone looks incredible. On LinkedIn, their profile has all these certificates, all this experience, all these skills, all these bullet points, all these programming languages, all the acronyms in the world for all of the certifications. And then when it comes down to it, it's like, is this person a real person? Because then you interview, and sometimes the person doesn't seem like they own all these things that they claimed. So to offset this, when I do the stream and I'm working on all these projects, even outside of the channel, my goal is to leave these like little breadcrumbs everywhere, right? These are the little things that show my process and how I got from A to B. So that when I go apply for a job, even if I'm new to them, it's not like I'm like coming out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just like popping up out of nowhere. I've been around, and if you want to go back and look at that journey, you can see it. You know, and this is just my personal belief, but I think that lends a greater level of credibility to what you're claiming. Um, and it's just like in math class when you were in high school. I don't know if you had the same type of math teacher that I had. Shout out to Miss Nix. But it's not always about the outcome. It's usually it's about the process. That's why people would hire you. That's what it means to have mastery. It's about the process. And once more, being able to make that process visible so that others can see into it, so they can see how you're thinking, if you're thinking correctly, if you're thinking in a way that's easy to follow, and that's what's going to give people confidence in you. The person cannot simply trust you. Trust is a whole nother thing, because confidence comes from objective evidence, right? Trust is something more metaphysical and emotional. A company wants to have a high enough confidence that you can actually do the thing. So you have to be able to show them. I've done it before. Not only here are the results, but here's how I did it. So, anyways, that's my reason for taking these awkward screenshots, putting these posts on LinkedIn, doing the stream, all these things. And it's always been a strength of mine. It's always really helped a lot. Maybe I'll make that my rant at the end of the stream. I'll come back to that. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to knock this out. G and H. I got about an hour left in me. No matter what we get done in this hour, I'm gonna call it a night because I got to be up tomorrow at like 7 or 8, and it's 11. So, and I still got to get one more high protein meal in. So I got a lot to do. Okay, I go to bed at 12:30. Oh, but what are you doing in there? Oh, he's playing with this toy. Okay. I was about to say, don't be chewing up my clothes. He's a chewer. He'd get to it real fast. He love a good sock. That's one thing about him. Okay, so phase G. So phase G is implementation governance. So to complete the projects implement the changes necessary to reach. Um, okay. Okay. That seems pretty straightforward. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do my good old fashioned trick of coming back to it with the Gemini though. But let's go ahead and get H done, and then we can do the Gemini thing. Let me do my highlightation thing first. So, oh, by the implementation projects. I sure need to get a macro for highlighting so I can do it more quickly. That's one thing I need to figure out with my keyboard is macros. That would help my life a lot. Um, okay. So phase H is architecture change, change management. Addresses perceived, real, or anticipated shortfalls. Based on the stakeholder preferences. This is making me think that when I'm translating this into my my freelance business idea, um, see, what I was thinking at first is like, okay, I'm not gonna say exactly what my business is. I'm still figuring it out, but I want to be able to perform this technology service for a small, medium-sized business that I find as an individual contractor, laborer, or whatever. And at first, I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna come up with like a list of products or services that I can provide, and maybe some price ranges, or at least I'll have like some type of formula. Talk to them, and then go and implement those changes based on this formula that I have, and be able to give them like an upfront price. But what I'm thinking now is that what I'm going to have to do is talk to clients, probably as many as possible, and get an idea of what they need to change or update or whatever in their digital systems. And then I'm going to have to come back to my drawing board. I'm going to have to understand what is the baseline that I'm working with that they have already in place, and then what does that target look like, and then what are all the steps that are going to take to get from what they have to what I can do for them basically. And I think the architecture consulting price, estimation portion of my work with the client is going to have to be free. It's going to have to be free, or it's going to have to be included in the price tag of whatever complete service that I can promise them. And it's possible that I could get through that whole planning thing and like, hey, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this thing. I done looked at it. It don't look like it's gonna work out, or it's maybe this is gonna be too expensive, cost prohibitive or whatever, unrealistic. But I'm gonna have to basically approach my freelance work with the same or similar type of process where I need to understand what their needs are, and then architect a plan relative to the baseline to get to the target, which is the also it's going to include something for the deliverable. And then my pricing strategy is going to be based around that migration plan. Is what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I think I could price. Honestly, I don't think I can price the labor to plan it unless that's what they're hiring me for. Maybe someone could hire me for planning out something that they're going to have to like go and secure further resources for, I guess. But with my freelance business, I'm really thinking about things that I can provide directly to a customer on contract for some type of fee. So that's an interesting thought. I have to come back to that. I have my first meeting in a week. So yeah. I mean, once I do it for one client, once I define like a workflow and some transitional, I don't even know what to call it. Once I define a service that I've provided for a client in the past, I could probably create efficiency by repackaging that service for other clients that are in a similar predicament. I would have to like keep good documentation though, and be really clear about the deliverable. Okay, so gaps between target. Um, okay, so phase H is cool. I guess I'll just take a couple more notes for these last 3 points here. So maintain ADM. Um, execute governance framework. Architecture capability meets current requirements. Um, okay, those are all good. Let's do our little trick now. We're going to take this whole section and, oops, went too far. Too aggressive. Whoa, where do we go? Yeah, so we're going to take this whole, we're going to take this whole thing and we're going to go all the way up to here. And we're going to say, okay, do for this. My whole thing about this music, to be honest, is that I wish it was more poppin'. You know what I'm saying? Like There's no reason why lo-fi chill music can't be popping. Is there? Maybe I haven't figured it out. I'm not saying I want to be like doing a stanky leg. I want to do a little bit of this though. You know what I'm saying? This little. I want to do a little bit of this, just not a lot. I don't want to be distracted. But sometimes I just wish, I had a little kick, a little syncopated something rather. But good music obviously ain't gonna be free, so this is what we got. I might toss on some binaural tone. Actually, let me do that right quick. I love a good 33 hertz. I feel like binaural tones and frequencies helped me. That sounds so woo woo and new agey, but that's my testimony. I'm sticking with it. This one is 33 hertz. You can barely hear it. Let me turn this down. Turn this one up. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. I think 42 hertz is good for like meditation. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to this. Man, he's really getting after that toy in there. He's in his crate right now, and he is chowing down.
Certainly, let us now delve into phases G and H.
I hate the word. By the way, I ain't never hated the word delve so much until the last couple years. Delve and tapestry be getting me. If I never have to see the word delve or a tapestry for the rest of my life, I might just be fine. Unless I'm talking to a weaver or a scuba diver. I don't want to hear the word delve. Nobody uses the word delve in real life. I ain't never heard nobody say delve or just throw it in a sentence for no reason. Or tapestry. Or the word profound, profound depth. That's AI. AI loves to say profound depth of tapestries. I don't know why. In fact, if you know why, leave me a comment. And probably nobody's gonna leave a comment because don't nobody know. Anyways, let's get back to this.
Architecture phase, or TOGAF. These phases follow the planning stages and deal with the execution and ongoing management of the enterprise architecture. We will examine the purpose, essential knowledge, and objectives of each phase in a straightforward and understandable manner. Phase G is titled Implementation Governance. The primary purpose
Oh,
of
there's a
this
little
phase
doggy
is to
behind me.
oversee and guide the actual projects that are carrying out the changes necessary to achieve the adjusted target state that was defined in the earlier phases. Think of it as the phase where the plans created in phases E and F are put into action, and this phase ensures that the implementation work stays on track and aligns with the architectural goals. It is about making sure that the projects designed to build the new or modified architecture are executed correctly.
Okay, wait. Primary purpose is phase to oversee and guide the actual projects. Okay, that's important. Importante. Mm-hmm. Okay. My little dog is just sitting there, right beyond the edge of this room's boundary, just on the other side. He's good at figuring out where the line is, and just being right a little bit over it. He don't ever stay behind it. He gonna have his little snoot or a paw. It's okay though. He's doing a good job. He's a good boy. You're a good boy. I don't know. I need to get a doggy cam so they can see you. How cute you are. Little stink butt. Okay, it's about making sure the projects designed to build. Okay. To effectively conduct Phase G, certain essential knowledge is required. First, it is crucial to understand the purpose and the constraints of the implementation team. So, what is the purpose? So, implementation team would be like if you're a software developer, that's you. Um, so, whiteout is the goat of office supplies. This one is, I think this one is a Japanese one. I got this one in Japan years ago. Well, it's probably, I don't know. I know I got it in Japan. It's Tombow. It's a Japanese company. Needs to be clear on. Get out of my laundry. Get out. Go to your crate. Go to your crate. Go to your crate. I know you're trying to be sneaky. Yeah, because if I wasn't paying attention, you'd be chewing on my whatever you was going to chew on. I can't trust you to lay on it. Sorry. My dog. My dog. Forgive me. Um, I talk to my dog. He understands. I know he understands me. Okay, so implementation needs to be clear on what they're supposed to achieve. I think if you follow the context clues, you know that this green screen behind it has a big pile of laundry. All this back here is fake. There's laundry back there. It is a lot. It's like the basket is overflowing. if, I'd be terrified and deeply embarrassed if this green screen ever fell over. I mean, I also don't care. I'll just get over it, but I would have to delete the stream. I'll just go ahead and get rid of it. Yeah, I'll be like, why is 46 missing? Stop asking questions. I have to go to this screen and then come back. Okay, anyways, I bet you like give me like 15 minutes. You're gonna be right back over there. You're gonna be right there. I'm gonna look back. You're gonna be right there, looking cute, trying to be quiet. This little sneaky butt. Okay, which gaps they're addressing, and so basically, when we say a gap here, we're not talking about something that is like inherently missing. The gap is like the thing that needs to be made to bridge from the baseline to the target or whatever that, yeah, to that target state. Go to your crate. Oh, I thought I heard something. He probably needs to go potty. Okay, the document detailing what architecture must do. Boundaries. Oh, go to your crate. I can hear you breathing. Go to your crate. He thinks that if I can't see him, then I don't know what he's doing. He thinks that if he can't see me, then I can't see him. Go to your crate. See, I can hear him going in his crate, so I know he's in there. Down. Good boy. Good job. Such a good boy. Good job. Down. Yes. Good boy. Oh man. One thing having a dog has taught me, by the way, is the word equanimity. Um, I mean, to live that is, yeah. When I first got him, I did not know what equanimity was or meant, or how to, what it felt like or nothing. um, yes, equanimity is a really important thing for having a dog, especially a puppy. As products progress, delivery results view on what's important might change. Keep track. Okay, cool. This is like something. So this here, how stakeholder priority and preferences adjust in response to success, effort, value, risk, change, whatever. This is really important for every phase. That's a repeating element. Um, okay, so G centered on ensuring the integrity of the architecture during its implementation. That's a really great summarization of that. Ensure integrity of architecture during implementation. I don't know how moms work when their kids are playing in the other room. God bless you, because trust is not my strength when it comes to undeveloped creatures in my apartment. Following potential we arrive at phase H, which is the architectural change management. The fundamental purpose is to establish a structured process for managing changes to the architecture after it's been implemented and is in use. Okay, so this is after implementation and interesting. Okay. Hmm. Just by the way that this sounds, change management, I would think that this is something that happens somehow inside of the implementation governance. Or I think I just had like the idea of management conflated with implementation governance. I thought that change management meant like, okay, here's the thing, I'm going to manage you as you change it. But apparently, that is actually the implementation governments. They're the ones who are like, hey, you're going to do some work, and I'm going to tell you what you need to do and how to do it and make sure you do it right. So, um, it provides the direction to proceed and start developing a target. Oh, wait. Maybe implementation governance is less about the actual work getting done and more about communicating. That's going to be a question. Let me ask right now, actually. So, implementation governance is about establishing team and resources and guiding them to know what their work is and determining their capability to do work, clarifying what they are to achieve, and is the actual management of that work getting done. Let's see what it says. I should probably just finish reading that section, but let's go ahead and jump ahead just a teensy bit. Okay, so they're actually building and implementing in this phase. I need another color. I need a blue. I need a blue pen or something. I think this is blue. Okay, so during phase G, they're actually building. Okay. Okay, so after the work is done, then phase H is about updating the architecture. Um, um, what is it? Components to reflect what has actually been built. No, I think I'm still not understanding. Oh, handling requests. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like change requests are a big part of this. Addressing issues, work that arises. Um, Update architecture. And so going back to my like small business freelance operation, I think that this change management, this is an area of risk. This is the area of risk for a small, well, for any business because if you try to like go to a target architecture and then you were like missing something or a huge gap or something you didn't really plan well for, you might end up in the architecture change management phase of things and you have a whole slew of things that you didn't expect and now you're just like, oh shoot. You know that timeline that we talked about? Well, yeah. June is going to be July. It was a little typo. I actually meant July when I told you that. And yeah, and then also you gotta find a way to carry the cost of that additional work. Which, if you're freelancing, you might have to do it for free because your client's not going to want to just give you a bunch of money because you poorly planned something. In an actual functioning business, it might be different. With a um, really complicated architecture or whatever. Okay, so impact on existing architecture. Okay, so let's try this one more time. So change management is about handling change requests, um, addressing issues and new work that might arise from the changes, from the implementation, updating architecture, and assessing the impact on existing architecture. Okay, so let's see if that's right. Okay, cool. Cool beans. Um, I need one of those pens, like a little clicker pen that can change between. I thought I had one. I thought I had one of those. That is the okay. So the whiteout is like the goat of office supplies, but the little multicolored clicker pen, that is like the little baby goat. Like the kids. I know I have one somewhere. I gotta find it. Okay. Trying to keep my little desk clean here. Finally cleaned off my desk after several months. Not the one that's here, but the one that's over there. Man, that thing was bad. It was real bad. It was really really bad. Um, it became a storage facility. Okay, so I think I understand what this is getting at. Okay, so what did I say? I said I was going to get through that, and like, we're going to do the requirements management. Yeah, we're going to do requirements management, and then I'm going to take. Actually, yeah, let's do requirements management. And I'm going to take a break, another break for like. I think we're going to get out of here at like 12:30, which is fine. Because I'll be able to say that I finished this chapter, which is going to be really really nice. So we're going to do requirements management. Okay, understanding management requirements. Places requirements management at the center of architecture development. Clear traceability of organization's vision, mission, business model, and strategies through The most detailed statement of requirements. Okay. Okay, so this is for all phases of ADM. All relevant phases. Okay. Uh, Sometimes these short sections make me more worried because I'm just like, why aren't you telling me more? But let's see. Um, Explain this. I really like this process of reading it here and then being like, tell me more.
Let us now explore the crucial aspect of requirements management within the Open Group Architecture Framework, commonly known as TOGAF. Unlike the distinct phases of the architecture development method, ADM, like phases A through H, requirements management is a continuous process that underpins the entire Admiral cycle. The fundamental purpose of requirements
Admiral cycle, what is that? Did it just make that? I guess I thought that that meant admiral. That's interesting. Okay.
management, as defined in TOGAF, is the consistent understanding and management of requirements throughout the enterprise architecture lifecycle.
I like that way of phrasing it. The consistent understanding and management of requirements throughout the enterprise architecture lifestyle. I feel like I'd be a good requirements manager if that's a thing. Tell me what you need. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you got. I just want to go to meetings and write down people's concerns and then have other people read my notes. Can I get a job doing that? Like, just go to meetings, listen, take notes, and give it to somebody else. And I'll make sure it's real good too, real detailed. I might even put some pictures in there. I'm really good at that kind of thing. So, the consistent understanding and management of requirements. The worst thing is when someone has me take notes and then they misremember and I'm like, no, I took pretty good notes. You might have forgot that you said this, but I wrote it down for a reason. I didn't just make this up. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure you mean this before you say this in this meeting? Because that's what I'm going to walk away understanding. Anything you said. That's why you always send a follow up to clarify. Hey, these are the notes I took for the meeting. Just want to make sure that these are good. Is there anything in here that you don't like or that you didn't mean to say or that you don't want or that you want me to redact or whatever? Because this will be the understanding I have moving forward. You know, because that's like a pro tip. Always send a follow up when you take notes in a meeting. Your notes do not need to be secret. Obviously, need to know type of thing or whatever. But yeah, your notes don't need to be secret from your boss or whoever whoever you work for or whatever. Okay. See, I love how Gemini just takes like this is great, and I'm sure that this is explained much better in the actual like if I go to the documentation, I'm pretty sure it probably explains it way better than the study guide. But oh, I gotta log in. Okay, cool. But I just love the way that Gemini just like really gets to the crux of the explanation. I'm gonna go back and like read this stuff. Um, but it would have been like a lot more difficult to make sense of it from this approach, if just going directly here. I mean, this is going to be more important when I get to like level 2 because right now I'm dealing with the why, a lot of the whys and like very vaguely the whats, but there's like a real what that needs to be delivered, and there's like formats and documents, and there's this whole system here that I got to figure out at some point too. And this is the part that it's going to be, you know, all this stuff here, but not these things. Trying to figure out how to make these things make sense for somebody for some reason. Hopefully, I can delete this. Okay. But yeah, this is still at a very conceptual level.
The framework positions this activity at the very heart of architecture development. This central placement highlights its importance. Without a clear understanding and diligent management of what the architecture needs to achieve, the entire effort can easily go astray. A key concept here is clear traceability. This means that every requirement, from the most detailed technical specification to broader business needs, should be clearly linked back to the organization's overarching vision, its mission, its operational business model, and its strategic goals. This traceability ensures that all architectural efforts are aligned with and directly support the primary objectives of the enterprise.
Okay. So traceability means every requirement is clearly linked to overarching vision, mission, operational business model, and strategic goals. Ooh, while I was writing that down, my brain did a thing. I gotta write this on a sticky pad. Sometimes my brain is like so weird. I have like a secondary thought when I'm doing something, um, but I gotta write this down. What is it? I'm trying to think about like my own business as I'm studying this, because I love to get a 2-for-1 special whenever I do anything in life. I'm like, okay, how can I leverage this for myself a little bit? Can I get some extra? Because I'm gonna leave a little something, something. When I was reading this thing, I was like, "Ooh, that's a good idea." But I'm not gonna tell you what it is. So I'm just gonna keep that in my little notes here. Love a good secret. Love a good secret. Okay. Let's continue.
The objectives of requirements management are designed to ensure its effectiveness and pervasiveness throughout the architectural process. Firstly, a primary objective is to ensure that the requirements management process is sustained and operates for all relevant Admiral phases. This emphasizes that
Admiral.
managing requirements is not a one-time task, but an ongoing activity that must be actively maintained and applied throughout each phase of the ADM, from initial strategy considerations to implementation and change management. Secondly, requirements management aims to manage architecture requirements identified during any execution of the Admiral cycle or a phase. As an organization proceeds through the different stages of developing and evolving its architecture, various types of requirements will emerge. These might be business requirements, data requirements, application requirements, or technology requirements. The objective here is to have a systematic way of capturing, storing, prioritizing, and tracking all these architectural requirements, regardless of when or where they are identified within the Admiral cycle.
Ooh, that's juicy. Yep, that's another good. Okay. So two things. Um, During the different stages of development, various requirements will emerge. That's like a given. And so requirements management, what that means is management. So what that means is systematic way of capturing. That's also another crux explanation.
Thirdly, it is an objective to ensure that relevant architecture requirements are available for use by each phase as the phase is executed. This means that as each Admiral phase begins its work, the specific requirements pertinent to that phase are readily accessible, clearly defined, and understood by the team involved.
That's also another important detail. So this here kind of said what I needed it to say, but not as well as this. Okay, so this is saying that through the ADM phases, um, specific relevant requirements need to be accessible, clearly defined, and understood. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you don't want to try to handle requirements in a muddy way. Um, and they need to be able, you need to be able to isolate these requirements from the actual work and project and all the other stuff, because those requirements can be addressed through any number of potential architectures and implementation details. Those requirements are going to be what they are. And they might also arise out of sync with a specific architectural plan that's in progress. You might just have a requirement just pop up out of nowhere, or you might discover it. So what this is sounding like is that you're going to have a system for organizing these requirements so that they can be associated with an ADM phase or some architecture or whatever as you're doing it. So this sound, does this fit into here? I don't see a category for it in here. Oh, those objects that I created, they are in here. Oh, okay. I didn't realize they were going to be making. I need to delete these. I'm glad I see this. I was just messing around. Wait. There we go. But there's no requirements section in here, so that's a good follow-up question. Okay. So it sounds like there should be a specific system for managing requirements, as well as maybe some tool or application for tracking them and associating them with a phase or work or phase project effort as the ADM is iterated through. Give me insight into the practical for this. Okay. Do 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 do. Bam. Shabbat. Bing bong. Oh, I'm ready for that break. Yeah, I'm ready for that break. I think what I can do to kind of expedite this when I come back from my break is I'm not going to read this directly. I'm just going to take this and do my direct. I'm going to put this in Gemini, this last two sections here. Yep, I'm going to put it in Gemini. I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to come back and do highlightations. And then I'm going to do my little test and I'm going to get off of here. Okay, so this is highly advisable. This system is more than just a software tool. It encompasses processes, roles, responsibilities, standards, organization puts in place. Practically, this means how to define requirements. First, identified and captured. What technique will be used to elicit requirements from stakeholders? Okay, so there's a process for collecting requirements from stakeholders. That's all I need to know for now. Okay. It almost sounds like by this description here, this almost sounds a little bit like how UX researchers will like do interviews and little quizzes, questionnaires, just stuff like that, talking to users in order to get requirements from them or to understand their needs. This sounds like this would be conceptually similar. Obviously, it's going to be unique to this type of thing, though. But it's like, I think one of the challenges is like people don't always know what they want. People don't always know what their requirements or their needs are. They have a feeling of what their problems are, but they may not necessarily adequately have adequately um, what's the word I'm looking for? Adequately examined um, their needs or what they want. I guess if that makes sense. So there must be a need to sort of like steward that process to help a stakeholder like more or less understand or at least get to the point where they can communicate it to you because they might not have that clear communication off the get go. Um, okay, so standard way to document each requirement, unique identifier, clear description, and source. Okay. So managing the life cycle of each requirement. So a requirement is kind of like an entity of its own. It seems like they're almost like an entity within the architecture um, that has its own metadata of sorts for its own state. And that's probably going back to the traceability part. Every requirement is clearly linked to an overarching vision, mission, operational business model, and strategic goals. That's what traceability means. But there's also the need to manage, and the management is for capturing, storing, prioritizing, and tracking. That is the life cycle. Okay. Um, and the test cases that will verify their implementation. Let me go back. Traceability, which we discussed earlier, is a key functional part. It involves linking individual requirements to other requirements, to business goals. Okay, so requirements are linked to other requirements, business goals, um, and components. I thought that this was going to be a real quick section. It's turning out to be a lot more than what I expected. Okay, spreadsheet, shared document. Okay, these are the requirements management tool. That sounds very niche, which makes me think that it's also very expensive. Um, does Archimate have a built-in requirements management tool? I spelled that all wrong, but whatever. Requirements. Requirements. I have to give myself a little bit of grace because back in the day, before dictionaries, English, well, before dictionaries were widespread and literacy was rare, English did not have standardized spellings for things. Okay, they have 50 11 ways to spell the same thing. So I'm doing good as long as it phonetically is similar. I think that spell check and AI have just ruined my typing and my spelling. Um, where do we go here? Okay, so Archimate can. Oh, is it called? It's not called Archimate. It's called Archie. Um, I meant the application called Archie. Okay, so you can model and document requirements as a part of your architecture model. You can make them as elements, link them, add descriptive properties. However, it doesn't offer the extensive dedicated feature set of specialized requirements management software. It's okay. So, what requirements software are popular? And then I guess the other question is, if you're using a third-party software to create and manage requirements, how do you link that with your um, how do you link that with your architecture repository if it's a third-party software? Maybe you have a unique identifier, but you're going to be responsible for tracking between two pieces of software, which would be really annoying. Jama Connect. Oh, Jira. 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 Okay. Well. Hey, Jira. Atlassian. Hey. Now, that's not something I'm going to comment on. I ain't going to go too deep into that. Oh. Oh. Okay. Especially, I'm just being silly. Ooh, okay, so tool, particular teams. Okay, so oh, those would be like integrations into something like ADO. Oh, my music's. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I thought I stopped. Okay, so it sounds like if someone is using ADO or another platform similar, there is there would be an integration. But even so, how do these requirements get linked and managed with um, an app like Archie or so that and accurate. That's the thing is when you start putting information in two places without some type of integration to keep those things in sync, like the boy band. Yeah, that's yeah. Tech people are not good at that manually. Okay, so there would be a source of truth. That's a good point. Tool or spreadsheet. So it'd be in some specific tool or spreadsheet, and then um, and that would contain rich descriptive. What is wait? What are we listening to? Let's make sure this is not some copyright music. Hold on. Nope. Mm-mm. That was getting too good. I was like, this music is too good. This cannot be free. You're not about to get me canceled. Good music is a red flag. Hopefully they don't come and claim my stuff because that played for. I might have to go back and edit that out. I don't know how that will be handled, but we'll. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. I knew something was wrong when I started liking it too much. I gotta get out of here. Okay, I hope they don't come back and try to claim my thing with just that little. How long did that play? Damn, I'm mad now. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, and so the source of truth for requirements would be in some specific tool or spreadsheet containing the rich description, and then referenced in architecture models. Okay, I have already gotten into this deeper than I wanted to for my remaining time, so I'm going to make the executive decision to take a break now because we are already a little bit off track. I wanted to get off here by 12:30, but I think it's going to be probably 12:45. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna make haste. I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, come back, power through this little teensy bit of information here, and then I'm gonna do the quiz, and then I'm gonna get off and go. I gotta eat or something and go to sleep. Okay, so don't go too far. If you go anywhere, make sure you come back to the wolf pack. We'll be right here where we left off, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I've returned. Late as usual, but it is what it is. I have a piece of fruit with me. This is a kiwi. Um, by the way, I was thinking, I had this like running joke in my head earlier. I was eating one of these earlier today as well, and I was like, I am at the age where I don't even bother to peel my kiwis anymore. And I'm not that old, but I feel like there is definitely a point in life where it's just not even worth it. Like, just eat the skin. The skin is edible. It's good for you. It's fiber. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't even bother. I bite off the ends, and that is it. It's literally the easiest fruit to eat. Okay, let's take this. I wish my scroll wheel worked while highlighting. Okay, let's knock out this last section, and then we got. Oh, we got not a lot of questions. We got 11, 14 questions. Okay. So TOGAF is not a waterfall process, and that graphic, um, this thing right here, this is not indication of sequence. Yeah, we already talked about that earlier. So at the beginning of this chapter, so this is really just like summarizing a chapter, I guess. Phase G. Okay, correct. Okay, I think that's fine. Um, I could always tell my neighbors outside because I could always smell whatever he is smoking, and it's not a cigarette. uh, yeah, I used to live that life. I know. I know what they're out there doing. Oh, wacky tobacco. I wish they just didn't do it. Grab my window was receiving. My window's closed and I can still smell it. Okay, architecture can be used to identify the product, what products the enterprise needs, and boundaries of the products and constraints. Be used to define constraints and limits. An agile team. Parochial. Okay, come through parochial. $5,000 word. Okay, let's go ahead and do this quiz. We got 14 questions. I shall enumerate them on my page. Surprised my dog didn't make his way back in here. Very impressed. Okay, question one. Which of the ADM phases finalizes a detailed plan for moving from the baseline architecture to the target architecture? That is phase F. Yeah, you take opportunities and solutions from phase E and transform into a detailed and approved implementation plan. And that is the migration plan. So I'm going to do answers D. Number two, which of the AMD phases includes customization of the TOGAF framework and definition of architecture principles? That is the preliminary phase, D. Complete the sentence. A document is under development that has not undergone any formal review is known as a draft document. Complete the sentence. The purpose of the preliminary phase is to develop the architecture capability, identify key stakeholders, take an agreement on summary of target, manage architecture. I think it's A. I think it's A. Yeah, the architecture vision, which is phase A, that is when you determine the stakeholders, but the preliminary phase is for architecture capability. Consider the TOGAF ADM graphic of the architecture development lifecycle. Select the correct phase names corresponding to labels 1, 2, 3. So this is implementation, governance. Oh no, this is requirements management. It's number 2. This is implementation governance. And this one is opportunities and solutions. I'm just gonna take my best guess here, so B. So I guess I gotta memorize this diagram potentially. Okay. Let me see. Let me cheat. Yeah, G is implementation governance. So I had that right. Opportunities is number 3. Okay, so 6. When scoping and architecture, which aspect of the scope describes the level of detail the architecture effort should go? Um, let's say depth. C. Refer to figure 7. Which of the following? Hey, buddy. Ogu, you can come. Down. You're really cute, by the way. Down. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. You did a really good job. You did a really good job. Thank you. Okay, so we're question number 7. Refer to figure 7. Which of the following best describe the ADM graphic? Activity sequence, no. Not a process model. Representation, transformation flows. That one is C. 8. Why are architecture alternative or and trade-offs needed? To represent different possibilities and trade-offs to stakeholders. To enable architecture to decide which alternative to select. I'm gonna do B because you have to present that. You have to present it, and there's gonna be some type of test or whatever, some way to qualify which is the best. Which concept does the TOGAF standard provide to govern the target architecture? Is it B? Okay. Which of the following is the objective of phase A? You know, I want to see what happens at the end of this. I'm going to take all of this. I'm going to paste it into Gemini and see if Gemini is able to answer the questions correctly. What is this objective of phase A? Phase A is the architecture vision. Okay. Stakeholders, requirements, and priorities. I'm going to go with A. So this one is definitely phase G. Wait, no, apparently it doesn't because that's not an option. 2 is phase G. Okay. 3, so it's going to be either B or D. 3, ensure the business value and cost of the package transition is understood by stakeholders. That is going to be F. Ensure the architecture development lifecycle is maintained. It's H. So I think it's D. Which means that one is H. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm gonna do D for that one. A set of domain architectures approved by stakeholders for the problem being addressed with a set of gaps and work to clear the gaps understood by the stakeholders. That is opportunities and solutions, which is phase B. So my answer is going to be C. I'm using my notes. This is going to be, I think it's closed notes for level 1 test. Pretty sure. So I think I need to memorize. I need to like come up with some type of graphic to memorize the different stages with like a one sentence or one or two sentences for each of those phases. So this is preliminary phase. And this is going to be G. Or, yeah, G. So it has to be A. Excuse me. This is going to be G, implementation phase. Okay, let's go check out our answers. Oh, wait, first, I'm going to see what AI has for the... I'm not going to change any of mine. I'm just going to see what AI has. You bored, buddy? Oh, the dog is down here. He's so cute. He's very chill right now. I'm very impressed. I would surely not like it if he was just like amped up and knocking over my green screen and jumping on my desk. I'm glad he didn't turn out to be a dog like that. Although he's like that sometimes, but mostly it's when we're going outside or when there's like other dogs around. Other than that, he's very chill, especially at nighttime. A little scratchy scratch. One little scratchy scratch. He's so big. I'm gonna take him to get weighed probably tomorrow. I gotta take him to the vet tomorrow to get some medicine. I bet he's probably like 70 pounds. Are you eating something? Boy, stop eating stuff off the floor. He'll find anything. Okay. Give me your answers in a simple bullet numbered list. Please. Gotta say please so the robots don't come back and get you when they evolve. This is the one thing that's gonna save you in the future is that you said please to AI. Okay, so D D A. Okay, can't answer that one. 6 C. Oh, it did A for 8. Okay. B. It did A. It did B for 10. Oh. Uh-oh. D. Wait, 11 is D. Okay. So it's different on 3 of them. Uh-oh, I could be in trouble here. Okay, well, let's go check the key. Let's go check the answers. The answeronis. Where is it at? In the appendix. Answers. Okay. Was that chapter 4? Did I miss chapter 3? Did I not do the quiz for chapter? Oh, that's because it was okay. It was terminology. I didn't do that one. Okay, chapter 4. D D A. Let me get my red pen. 5 is B. 6 is C. 7 is C. 8 is A. 9 is D. 10 is B. Oh man, I got 3 wrong in a row. Oh loud. 11 is D. 12 is B. 13 is A. 14 is D. Okay, well I missed 5. Is 5. So what is 9 out of 14? You know what? I'm not gonna waste electricity. I'm just gonna do this in my calculator app. I got a bad habit of using AI for things that don't need AI. So 9 out of 14. I got a 64%. Okay, that would be enough to pass technically. You only need to get 60% to pass. Okay. I think it's 60. It's like 60 or 66%. So I'm gonna take it. A win is a win. 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 Uh, okay, yeah, we're gonna take that. It's almost 1 o'clock. Okay, let me just quickly read through the ones I missed. 8. Identifying the so I'm saying it can be built. Wait, by identifying and considering alternative target architectures and understanding can be built on the different possibilities and trade-offs identified between the alternatives. Wait, is this right? Wait, let me go back. Hold up. What was the question? Okay, okay. This does make sense. I think when I read it, I was like, "This sounds like the verbiage of the question," which threw me off. But okay, sure, sure, sure. Um, 9. What did it say for 9? Apparently, AI knew it better than me. Sure. Oh no, AI got it wrong as well. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Um, where did the test go? What page is this on? I gotta make a bookmark or something so I don't have to keep doing this. Okay. So we'll just say Okay, 10. An objective of phase A is to develop a high level aspirational vision. B. I thought. Okay, what did I answer? Okay. Hmm. 12. Oh, wait. I did get 14 right. My bad. I wrote the word or the letter G uh, for phase G, but that was actually D. There's no. Okay. So I did get better than a, let's see. I got 10 out of 14. Not so I am smart after all. Okay, I got a 70. Okay. I got a little boost. Got a little boost to my confidence. Okay. Okay, so I didn't do nearly as bad as I thought I'd do. Okay. You know what? It might be too late for me to do my little inspirational speech here at the end. Um, I'm gonna look up this last. I'm gonna go back to number 12 real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of here. What was the question for 12? Refer to the following table. So apparently this one should have been B. And what did I put? I put C, phase E. Oh, I think the reason why I got that, excuse me, I got that one wrong is because I saw gaps. Um, but okay, so let me say this out loud. Phase E is wrong. Phase E is about taking the things from phases B, C, and D, and then addressing the gaps, indicating the value and effort and the dependencies. So gap analysis and reviewing the candidate components. This, however, is saying a set of domain architectures. The set of domain architectures are the business, um, the information systems, and the technology. Information systems being the application of the data. Um, and all four of those and all three of those domains are what are approved by the stakeholders for the problem being addressed. And they will have a set of gaps. Gaps occur naturally when you're moving from baseline to target. Okay. Okay. Well, here are my notes. See what we're working with. Oop. There we go. Huzzah. Boom, bam, blow. Yep, that's how you do it. And I think I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired. I got a little personal thing I gotta work on after this. I'm trying to learn another language, as if I'm not doing enough things. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to learn a different language, and I need to make some time to. Well, I can't do it every single night, but I got to work on a thing, a little study tool that's going to help me. And I only got to do it once, so I'm going to do it after this and need some extra protein because I got to go to the gym in the morning. Anyways, wise words, wise words. I was saying something earlier that I was wanting to say. Again, I can't remember what it was. Hmm. Well, I'll leave you with this. Um, so I previously did a whole spiel about choosing the work that you love and trying to really honor who you are as a person and aligning with that as opposed to chasing the dragon. And what I want to say is that it is really, really, really a scary thing when you're choosing, especially in the face of a world that tries to veer you off in all sorts of crazy directions with trends and whatever's hot. And it's a very scary thing to just choose to just do you. Something that I've sort of realized is that if you're chasing trends and if you're chasing the money, if you're chasing whatever's hot and popular and trendy, uh, it is possible to catch those waves, but oftentimes when you become aware of those waves, that crest has already occurred. Okay. If you're positioned well and if you've been working hard, you might be better positioned to actually take advantage of a wave. But if you're starting out, or if you're trying to get into a new area, hopping on a wave might not be the most practical strategy, and it won't necessarily make you happier. You could find yourself easily demotivated. So I'm just going to tell you how I think about it and take it with a grain of salt. I say, look. Well, one, do what you're inclined to do. Like think about your actual strengths and put yourself in motion with those things. And also try to think about what the world will look like and need at some time frame that is beyond 3 to 6 months, and work towards that. And think about all the checkpoints and things you can do on the way to that 3 to 6 month goal. And then by the time you get there, you may have to pivot and change course and stuff like that. But it's going to give you a different trajectory that's going to feel more honest to who you are, more authentic to what you're concerned and care about. But also, it's going to allow you to think bigger than just the hot topic of the moment. Um, a great way to frame this is like what I'm doing, right? Think about a certification or something that you can apply yourself to, um, that is bigger than just a trend. A lot of the certification things like enterprise architecture or software architecture, a lot of these certifications are about skills and approaches to problem solving that are beyond any specific tool or technique. Or and if things change, they're going to be changed by some part of the industry that is gated with quality control, and oftentimes there's an incentive for it to change much slower. you know so find that balance between what you're inclined to do, what you're naturally good at, and then also something, a framework or a certification or something like that that you can work towards steadily while making sure that the journey to get there is exposing you to a bunch of really valuable things you know so you're getting multiple wins out of your formula when you approach it that way. And then of course, you want to get to the finish line whenever you start progressing toward some type of certificate. On the off chance that you don't get all the way there, you still gained a lot. You know, I'll tell you, I have several certifications and different things, but there's way more that I started and didn't finish than that I have. And whether I finish them or not, I still got the skill, I still got the experience. I still have something in my portfolio, I still have something to show for it. So don't always measure based on whether or not you complete things. You know, you got to be a little bit detached from the outcome and focused on the step by step daily journey as you work your way towards your big dreams and goals. And yeah, so that's just my advice. Um, it's worked for me. It may not work for you, but take it as it is. And if any of that was rambling or didn't make sense, then you'll have to forgive me because it is officially 1:12 a.m. So it's also way too late to be philosophizing. So, but I couldn't get out here without philosophizing because that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do. I'm gonna do it anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna get off here and go struggle through my little language course. And I'll catch you later. Thanks for coming by. My name is Key. This is Primitive. And don't go too far. But if you go anywhere, you can always come back to the Wolfpack. I'll be right here. Catch you later. Peace. If you're still watching, there's a survey in the description down below. If you could be so kind as to fill it out, that would help me immensely. I love getting to know who my audience is, who my potential audience is, and what your cares, thoughts, and concerns are. That survey is going to help me improve this channel and also make content that is perfect for your viewing pleasure. Any person who fills it out is greatly appreciated. And if you don't have time to do that, the least you can do is hit that bell button so you'll know whenever the next stream is happening. Okay. I'll catch you later. Adios.